battle of the year in Camp Randall, and the troops are ready, led by quarterback Jim Sorgi, who directs the attack. His main weapon for the Badgers, the fleet-footed Lee Evans. Today, it's a border war with the Hawkeyes, and their top gun is Freddie Russell. Kirk Ferentz is the general in charge, and his arsenal is full. Battle lines are drawn. Iowa, Wisconsin. Oh yeah, next. And here they come, the Wisconsin Badgers. With a record of 7-4, 4-3 in the Big Ten. And oh, are they ready to play football on a cold afternoon. Madison, Wisconsin has been called the best college sports town in the nation. Why not? They're expecting a sellout crowd at Camp Randall today for this Big Ten matchup between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Wisconsin Badgers. And hello again, everybody. Both of these clubs are coming off convincing victories last week. They are very confident coming in. However, the flu bug has hit Iowa. This was one hellacious week for the 18th ranked Hawkeyes, and they did not get a great practice week. For Wisconsin, this is the final game for the seniors here in Camp Randall. That's always an emotional day, and they would like nothing more than to win the 100th victory for their coach, Barry Alvarez.
Cold and dreary. Third member of our team is Sam Ryan, and right now she's with Wisconsin coach Barry Alvarez. Sam?
Coach Alvarez, your last one of the season, a special one. It's senior day. What have these seniors meant to this team?
Well, we've got really some special kids who have really done everything we've asked of them. They've been tremendous leaders both on and off the field, and they're playing their best football right now.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck today.
Okay, thank you.
There's a look at Kirk Ferentz, the 2002 Associated Press Coach of the Year, Walter Camp Coach of the Year. This might be his best job, though. He lost all those terrific players from the Orange Bowl team and went 8-3 and 4-3 in the conference. Well, Wisconsin won the toss, deferred. Iowa received the opening kickoff, something they've done 51 of the last 53 games, it seems. They always like to start on offense, so Scott Campbell will be kicking off, number 29, and Fred Russell and Marcus Schnoor are deep for Iowa, and they will be the returners.
Fred Russell, he was put back there last week for the first time in the season. They need a little bit of a spark on this kickoff return. He took the first one 46 yards against Minnesota.
Iowa started on offense 51 of 53 games now. They like to start with the ball under Kirk Ferentz. Wrestle between Lake Mendota and Minota, Camp Randall, and we are underway. Out of the end zone for a touchback. So we get our first look at the Iowa offense, and let's meet their 6'7", 259-pound quarterback.
I'm Nathan Chandler from South Lake Carroll High School in South Lake, Texas. I'm tied for the team lead in rushing touchdowns with Fred Russell.
Not kidding, 259 pounds. Number 10 is a junior college transfer from Pasadena Community College. He's a preparation guy. Works really hard to understand the game plan and execute it. First down, Iowa. Here's the give. Straight ahead they go. Off left tackle. Not a whole lot there for Jamel Lewis. He picks up a couple of tough yards. Well, the SBC starting lineups, backs and receivers. Mo Brown is back. He missed 6 games with a bad ankle. 15 guys have caught passes this year for the Hawkeyes. Chandler gets everybody involved. Ramon Ochoa is the leading receiver. Fred Russell has run for over 1,000 yards. Offensive line is big. Everybody's well over 300 pounds except for Rothwell. He's 6'3", 294. Robert Gallery is 321, best offensive lineman in the nation. Second down, Chandler rolls, throws into the flats, incomplete. Defensively for Wisconsin, the Badgers run a 4-3 scheme out of their base. Jones, Hawthorne, Jefferson, and Welsh there. Hawthorne, tremendous football player. 3 solid linebackers, Watkins, Mack, and Lewis. The defense held Michigan State to just 95 yards rushing last week. In the secondary, it's small but talented. Starks is the fastest. Leonard Niello, the most active. Leonard leads the conference with 6 picks, and Cowens is only 5'8", but he plays bigger. Third down and 7. Fans still trying to get into the stadium. Really backed up out there. Chandler with time throws, incomplete. It was intended for Maurice Brown, overthrown, and Iowa 3 and out will have to punt.
Right away, a little bit of pressure from Antaj Hawthorne, and if you have not seen number 77 play for Wisconsin, you've missed a treat. This young man, a junior out of New Jersey, is a heck of a player.
So it'll be David Bradley punting to that guy, Jim Leonard, who leads the conference in punt returns. He averages 15 yards a return. He's had 28 punt returns this year, and 2 have been returned for touchdowns. Everett has a good snap. Play clock down to 9, plenty of time. Good snap. High punt. Wynn holds it there for a while. Just seems to stop in the wind. They fair catch. No flag. So it's a 32-yard punt and no return. But great field position for Wisconsin's offense as they get ready to play. So let's meet the Badgers quarterback. He is #1 here all time in career pass efficiency.
Hi, my name is Jim Sorgi, quarterback, University of Wisconsin, from Fraser High School, Fraser, Michigan, a little town about 15 minutes north of Detroit. I've thrown 9 touchdown passes in the last 2 games.
Well, Jim's 6'5", 190 pounds, a senior on senior day, so the adrenaline's pumping. 2 weeks ago, he went through an attitude adjustment. He decided just to really have some fun and enjoy the last 2 games. He had a terrific week last week, and he starts 1 for 1 here as he goes to Evans. It's complete, a yard short of the first. SBC starting lineups, backs and receivers. Anthony Davis has missed 5 full games, parts of 3 others with an ankle sprain. He does get the start. Dwayne Smith is ready to go, though. All eyes today will be on Lee Evans, who leads the Big Ten with 99 yards receiving a game extremely dangerous. Williams and Poshardi. The offensive line, well, Iowa doesn't blitz a lot, but still generates pressure. Davis, Benning, Raiola, Clinsdale, and Lawrence across that front. All 300 pounds or better, except for Raiola, who's 290. Here's Davis, his first carry, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and he's short of the first down. So it'll bring up 3rd down and about 1.
And Anthony Davis, it's good to see him back in the lineup.
SBC lineups defensively for Iowa. Harold Hodges is one of the best, or Howard Hodges, best defensive ends in the country. Claus, Robinson, and Roth are solid linebackers. Grant Steen is a senior. Hodges, the Hawkeyes' leading tackler. Chad Greenway is #2. And in the secondary, playing in his final game at Camp Randall, #33, Bob Sanders, trying to become only the 8th player in Iowa's 114-year football history to make first-team all-conference 3 years in a row. That's the guy on the other safety. Johnson and Allen to cover corners. 3rd down, they need a long run. Play action. Sorgi throws into the flats. He's got it complete. This is Bernstein, and he's out to the first down inside the 40.
Take a look at Wisconsin on offense numerically against Iowa defensively, what they've done through 11 ball games. And Wisconsin, it's unbelievable when you think that they've averaged more passing yards than rushing yards. One thing that Barry Alvarez has always had is a 1,000-yard rusher. The last 10 years they've had one, may not have one this year. Iowa very good against the run, but we've already seen Lee Evans early getting a little bit of a push, and we do not want his speed on the back.
Off the left side, there's Bernstein.
Bernstein, it's 273-pound fullback. Real good hands out of the backfield. Get him involved early. Raiola, the center. If that name sounds familiar, it's because his brother Dominic was an All-American at Nebraska, now starts for the Detroit Lions. Very active. They'll pull the center quite a bit, which is a little bit unusual.
Wisconsin has been hot and cold this year. You have to wonder how consistent they would have been if everybody stayed healthy. This ball incomplete, intended for Lee Evans, and he's one of the guys who was banged up. I mean, Davis, he missed so much time. Sorgi he didn't stay healthy. He missed a couple of tough games.
Sorgi had knee surgery during the Northwestern week, did not play in that loss. Evans are trying to set up a little screen. Get the blocker out there in front. Brandon Williams just put a little too far in front of Evans. But
Sorgi also had that well-documented throat situation after the Ohio State game.
Evans and Sorgi, even though Sorgi was behind Brooks Bollinger, got to play quite a bit. And Lee Evans and Sorgi have worked together so well this year and in the past, and it just kind of rolled into their senior season.
After the gun, Sorgi needs 6 on 3rd down. Over the middle he goes, almost picked off. It was intended for Williams, went through his arms, and maybe, well, Iowa got a good look at it. Greenway was right there, number 18.
That was a great job by Greenway. Each linebacker lined up right here. Chad Greenway, number 18. Him and Abdul Haj are the 2 leading tacklers in the Big Ten. That's a great break on the ball. Sorgi was looking for Brandon Williams in the crossing route.
This will be a 52-yard attempt by Mike Allen.
New career long for this guy.
This is not going to make it. It's going to be short. Iowa has held, and we're still scoreless. Good look at Barry Alvarez, the winningest coach in Wisconsin football history. 3 Big Ten titles, 3 Rose Bowl titles, and today with a win would be his 100th here with the Badgers. First down, Hawkeyes. First possession was 3 and out. This is Mo Brown in motion. This is Freddie Russell with the ball, and he can scoop around the corner into Wisconsin territory. Look out, one to beat, and knocked out inside the 20 goes Freddie Russell. 5'8", 192-pound senior. He ran for over 1,000 yards again this year. Last year, 1,264 and 9 touchdowns. This run for 47 yards.
And they're going to go with Gallery, the left tackle. Robert Gallery, the left tackle, pulls out and leads the way. This guy is, he's just so big and so active. That time going against Aiello, the strong safety. He is such a good athlete at 321 pounds. Aiello has no chance physically, but you think he could outrun him, but that is just good clicks.
This is Lewis, and not much. Bangs his way off the right side of that line behind Rothwell, McMahon, and Aiello, and there's not a whole lot there.
Take a look at these two teams offensively and defensively by the numbers. Iowa is 11th in the Big Ten passing yardage. A lot of that has to do with some of the injuries. You mentioned Maurice Brown. Also, Ed Hinkle, who was a starter at the end of last year, at the beginning of this year, has a groin injury. He hurt against Arizona State and against re-injured against Ohio State. So hopefully we'll see number 11 out there, but that has really hurt the passing game of the ball.
Second down and 9. Look for a reverse. Here it comes. It's Ochoa. Ochoa inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, Iowa. No flags. 18-yard score. And Ramon Ochoa scores his 6th touchdown of the year.
And he had a pulling guard out there in front of him, the quarterback, Chandler. Would you say he's 6'7", 259 pounds? He's downfield blocking like Gallery. Watch Chandler, the quarterback, number 10. It's a big fella out there blocking. There you go. He even threw a shoulder in there.
AK, the Luke Rosa Award winner from a year ago, best in the land, puts it through the sticks. And it's 7-0 Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes scored first. Ramon Ochoa on a reverse from 18 yards out. So Iowa's on the board, 7-0. Badgers now will get their chance. Brandon Williams spins across the 20 and up to the 27-yard line. Brandon Williams averages 22 yards on kickoff returns. He gets 25 on this one, and the scoring drive was 3 plays, 66 yards, and this is a quick strike team. They do it in a hurry. Ochoa from 18 yards out. And how about this, Iowa? One of those stats you love to see early in the ballgame. 4-0 when scoring first. Delivers to Dwayne Smith. He's got a big hole. He's got a first down. He's loose. Smith all the way down to the 41-yard line. He ran 21 times last week for 207 yards and 3 touchdowns. He comes out here and picks up 30.
What a really nice job by the left tackle, Morgan Davis. Watch him seal the outside. It's right up on the linebacker Greenway. The defensive end comes inside, and nobody had contained. If your defensive end slides inside, Lukey, the defensive end comes in. Greenway tries to get back over the top, and Morgan Davis chips up to him and did a nice job sealing.
They've done a nice job with this offensive line. It's coming up a lot during the season. You see the numbers on Dwayne Smith, very impressive against Michigan State. Here's Anthony Davis. Boy, with 2 good ankles, he wouldn't have caught him. Jonathan Orr, Brandon Williams come to the bottom of the screen down here, and again, Lee Evans. Trips. Sorgi looks deep. And Orr can't get there. Jonathan Orr was open. He had come clean in the secondary, and it was just beyond his grasp. Boy, Jim Sorgi would like to have that one back.
Feels a little slick. I was down there before the game. A little bit of rain, kind of some sprinkles, and it looked like as Orr came back underneath Javon Johnson, he may have slipped on this the long turf that they have here in Wisconsin.
RJ forced the punt. They'll try to push this one inside the 10. Nope, this will go to the end zone for a touchdown. Not even close. A 40-yard punt. He would have liked to have hit it about 30. Iowa goes back on offense, 9:40 to play in the first. Iowa scripts its first 15 plays, so Kirk Ferentz and Ken O'Keefe are not shooting from the hip here. They're calculated, calling plays off a chart. So whatever the down and distance, they have a play that they want against this defense. When they find a play that works, the script goes and then they attack. First down, Hawkeyes. High snap. Pressure on Chandler. Intercepted. This is Starks. Starks down to the 5. Starks, the fastest guy on the defense. Looks a lot like former Badger Jamal Fletcher, Brooklyn #2, and he returns it 26 yards.
I was talking earlier about Ed Hinkle, who hasn't played much because of a groin injury. There was complete miscommunication between Chandler and Hinkle. Hinkle never got his head turned around. Chandler thinking he's running a hitch. He's going to run a deep in route. And Starks does a really nice job, and then there's our big guy Gallery saving a sure touchdown.
Starks just jumped it. Had his eye on the other way. Badgers in the red zone with Austin. To the 1. Anthony Davis missed 5 full games and parts of 3 others with ankle injuries. He was the leading rusher in the nation in 2001 and 2. Had that incredible 3,021 yards.
He had the ankle injury against UNLV, and then he came back and tweaked it again late. He had his left ankle against UNLV, and then did the right ankle later in the season, so he's just been battling his ankle sprain all year.
We saw him in practice Thursday, ran pretty well. Here he is, stutter step, skips, to the yes, touchdown Wisconsin. Anthony Davis.
Scale the right guard, Raiola the center, continuing to fight. Good finish of the play by Davis. He was stopped short of the goal line and just continued pumping those legs.
Down for the extra point attempt. And we're tied. Anthony Davis scoring drive, 2 plays, 5 yards. Quick strike offense. 42 seconds it took. Kick taken at the 12. Marcus Schneer looks for a hole and gets it out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Let's go down to Sam.
Well, Timmy, it's important to have this when you're standing on the Iowa sideline. That's because a violent flu bug swept this team last week, leaving 25 players feeling some sort of effects of the virus. Now, Robert Gallery got sick before last week's game against Minnesota. 2 players were so sick, they were sent home. Bob Sanders then checked himself into the hospital on Sunday. On Monday, the entire team and coaches went on antibiotics for Coach Barry. Says everybody was back in practice on Wednesday.
Sam Chandler looks for some help, and he's not going to get it. He's sacked by Jonathan Rush. And the 21-year-old real estate major was there in a hurry. A loss of 4. You know, you talk about that flu. Anytime anybody gets a little sick in the winter, they say it's the flu. But these guys really had it. It's serious. Some were hospitalized. They were taking IVs, obviously. She mentioned the antibiotics. It spread so quickly. They were out for a while, and it was definitely disruptive this week in practice.
Got so bad they had to send the trainer home last week against Minnesota. That's the one guy you would like to be able to stick around when your team is sick.
3rd down and 12. Chandler tucks it. He's not going to get the first. Ryan Ayala made the tackle, and the Badgers are swarming.
Showed a lot of pressure that time and then backed out. And I think it confused Chandler a little bit. Watch as the guys start to back out. They're only rushing 3. And Hawthorne, when you put 77 in at center, a guard has to come down and help him. This guy's an All-American if there ever was one on the defensive line.
David Bradley standing at the 22. That's where he'll punt this ball away. And then he's punting to Jim Warner, who leads the conference in punt returns. Leonard standing back at the 23. They snap, but it's almost blocked. He gets off a boomer, a great play by Bradley to get this off. And great coverage by the Hawkeyes inside the 20. A 46-yard punt and a 3-yard return. So it's first down Wisconsin, and the give off the left side for a couple of tough yards goes Dwayne Smith. And Wisconsin, boy, I tell you, they just want to get up and go. They don't want to wait. Say, we're going to take a timeout here and break away. They said, no, you're not.
We're going to go ahead and play.
Jim Sorgi says, we're going to hurry up. The senior day, we want to play. We don't want to wait.
It's Matt Shaver sending in the signals. Paul Shaver, the hero. And now State game, and Sorgi had to go out and couldn't get the calls because his wing height was grabbed at the bottom of the pile.
Second down and 7, play action. Jim Sorgi has time before the outpower. This is Bernstein. Bernstein across the 30.
He's been taking lessons from Lee Evans, catching the ball at your shoe tops with your hands.
It's amazing. There's a physical vein. But he is 6'2", 273 pounds. He's a very strong physical guy. And he's got terrific hands.
When you look at him and you almost think he has the wrong number. He should have number 72 on. But Brian White, you know, this is a weapon. He says, we don't use him that much, but that's an unbelievable catch. Yeah.
Next time he's out of the game right now, and next time he comes back on, I want to get that close up of his eye. There you go, look at that. Smith, Dwayne Smith to the 35. How about Dwayne Smith the day he had last week? He ran 21 times, 207 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Twice in Big Ten history, teams have had 200-yard receiver and rusher the same game. It's both times. It's happened twice, both of them this year. Wisconsin, and one time last week with Lee Evans and Smith. He's after a quick start here today. 2 plays, 37 yards.
Second down at 6. There he is again. Starr steps and he's out to midfield. Well, you've got Anthony Davis, who came into the season as a Heisman Trophy candidate, certainly a serious one, who led the nation in rushing. He gets hurt. Smith picks up, and he goes for 16 here.
And this is a lot like what happened last year when Lee Evans blew out his knee in spring ball 2 springs ago. They had to have some young guys step up. So Brandon Williams and Jonathan Orr stepped up, 2 freshmen, had great years when Lee Evans was out. And then Anthony Davis goes down, and you get Dwayne Smith, and a sophomore, and Booker Stanley. They both picked their game up, and the depth that they've developed because of the injuries really helped Wisconsin this year. Will have even more next year.
They're both physical backs who run 4.5s. Sorgi checks his way. He's got a first down. Grant Steen finally tripped him up, but not until he gets up to the 37-yard line. So Sorgi with the first down. They move the chains.
Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator at Iowa, said this Wisconsin group of receivers is up there, maybe not as good depth-wise as Michigan, but Lee Evans is as good a receiver as there is in the Big Ten, including Dwayne Evans.
No running on this time for Smith. When you talk about Ohio State and Michigan, of course, that decided the Big Ten championship earlier today with Michigan winning that. They win the title here outright in the conference. The feeling here at Camp Randall is that those 2 schools will still get BCS bowl bids. That leaves Capital One. Now Purdue is in 3rd place in the conference, but one of these 2 teams still wants to play New Year's Day, and it looks like, as you look at the bunch up there in the middle of the Big Ten standings, one of these teams is going to play New Year's Day.
And Iowa and Wisconsin always a good pick because they travel so well. We did that game last year in the Orange Bowl against USC. They had 50,000 people.
Over the middle they go. They got first down. It's Charles. Darren Charles has made the catch. 19-yard pickup, and it's down to the 21.
And Charles, a guy who's picked up his game in the last couple of weeks. 685-yard passing in the last 2 games coming into today by Jim Sorgi. And Darren Charles. This is his 9th catch.
Here's the give to Davis. They're all over him, and Jared Claus was there first. Claus is another one of those guys that missed a couple of games with ankle injuries.
Well, they've had a bunch of guys up front for Iowa. Not only the flu bug went through, but an ankle bug went through. That's just a missed block by the center, Raiola. He's expecting he's going to get some help from his right guard, Clinkscale. Moore Parker, you mentioned, doesn't like the blitz a lot. He doesn't have to because of this front four. When they are healthy, they're very active.
No, I agree with the compliment. That's a good thing to use the blitz.
Every discriminator in the country loves that.
2nd and 7. Double pass. Evans throws a dangerous pass, but it's complete. And Sergi is all the way down inside the 5. We saw him work this play on Thursday. And the former quarterback, Lee Evans, had to get rid of it quickly, but he showed his athletic ability throwing it back to Sergi. A gain of 19.
And Jonathan Clinkscale, the right guard, is going to fake, and come back to get into the block. And watch after he throws the block. He sees Sergi coming and just buries into the turf. Watch number 50. What a great job by Clinkscale. He sees his quarterback coming. He drops down on his face so Sergi can use his 12-inch vertical jump to get over him.
How about Thursday night we sat down with Lee Evans, we asked him about the fullback we saw in practice, and he looked like a cat that just swallowed a bird. He didn't even talk about it. Here's Davis still on his feet. Inside the 5. Anthony Davis, touchdown. Wisconsin. No flags.
Them know if he feels healthy enough to play. He has sprained both his ankles this year several times. And the coaches didn't feel as late as Thursday he would be healthy enough to play, but he ran through that tackle and spun out like he's 100%.
Extra point is good. And so with 15 seconds remaining in the first period, Anthony Davis from 1 yard out, Anthony Davis from 4 yards out, and he's got 2 scores already in this ball game.
You have to trust a guy like Anthony Davis. He's run for over 3,000 yards 2 years prior to coming into 2003. You have to trust his toughness. I think he's going to do the right thing.
Well, they left it up to him, and he's come in and he's scored twice already. Here goes Iowa now, needing to get something generated. There is no question but the fact that he's healthy. He is as good as any and better than almost all. Last play of the first period. Chandler trying to dodge some people. Ball's loose. Wisconsin's got it. Jim Leonard makes the recovery. The Big Ten leader in interceptions. The former walk-on was the MVP last year and gets a big fumble recovery here.
And Antaj Hawthorne, a guy that every time I turn on Wisconsin makes something happen. He took over the game against Ohio State in the second half. This time never quits on the play and knocks the ball out. This guy is really fun to watch.
Hawthorne has changed Wisconsin's fortunes here. You know, he took number 77 after Wendell Bryant left for the NFL. It was Hawthorne's high school number. Boy, I don't know if it's the number of the players, but both of those guys can play and flat out dominate a game. Look at this. Average starting field position.
It's all about the turnovers.
Dominate.
The interception by Starks, and that time a great hustle play by Hawthorne.
First down, Wisconsin after the turnover. That's the 36-yard line. In reverse. Back to Sergi. Sergi tucks it away and gets to the 30, and the ball's loose. Wisconsin gets it back.
Antaj Hawthorne. We've seen some really good defensive linemen this year. Watch him get up the field, and as Chandler goes by, finish this play. I talked to him yesterday for a while, and I said, you know, what was the biggest difference between your sophomore and junior year? And it was how hard he worked on football-related conditioning. He said, I spent a lot of my own personal time working against a sled we have in the weight room. And I just think I've worked more on my pass rush moves, but more than anything has been able to finish those plays. Jim Sorgi's been hit a few times. You mentioned earlier that he just didn't look like the ball, as good as he's been in the last few weeks. Went over to the sideline. The trainers were working with him, and Matt Shaver comes in, who has some experience. Of course, he had that 7-yard touchdown throw to beat Ohio State a few weeks ago.
Shaver has pressure, and he gets rid of it just before he goes down. And Shaver goes down hard, hit by Jared Claus, and Claus is just unleashing everything he's got. First team academic All-American, and today playing like he's all everything.
This is why Norm Parker does not have to bring a lot of blitzes. Got Roth and Hodges on the edges, and Claus, when he's on the inside, able to get pressure in the middle, and this is what they had missed. Norm Parker said we haven't had as consistent a rush in the middle as we needed with Claus. Rush him over! 100%.
Davis straight ahead, absolutely nothing as the Hawkeyes shut it down. Iowa scored 53 points this year off 20 turnovers, but they cannot get the ball back from the Badgers here in the first half.
Fairly conservative play call that time by Brian White, the offensive coordinator for Wisconsin. I think
how much of that is with Matt Shaver?
That's what I was just going to say. It's got to be that with the ball wet, and here they go on 4th down again, playing the field position game, because Iowa's offense is so out of sorts that they feel like even if we get the ball back, we're still in pretty good shape.
First for Evans, number 3, is at the top of your screen on 4th down. That's who they like to look for. Instead, they go to screen. This is Davis. He's got coverage. Inside the 20. Inside the 20. Davis inside the 5. A 31-yard gain by Anthony Davis. So Iowa, like I was, looking for Evans, and they come back underneath the opposite side.
And Dan Benning, the left guard, making his 36th career start, does a really nice job on Grant Steen. Steen, the outside linebacker, had responsibility for Davis on this. And Benning, who's been the most consistent offensive lineman for Wisconsin, getting out on the screen and opening things up for Davis.
First down and goal for the Badgers. Left side, touchdown, Smith. And that sends the band into pandemonium once again in the end zone here at Camp Randall.
Well, you mentioned this offensive line. We just saw Dan Benning on that screen. This offensive line has started every game intact this year, and they have really stepped up their game in the last 4 or 5 games.
And the extra point is good. That band there in the end zone gives you one of the greatest shows in college football. 10:08 to play in the half. It's all Badgers right now, 21-7. As you look at Smith, who just scored, made it a 21-7 game, Wisconsin. So the Badgers at 7-4, trying to improve their conference record to 5-3. Hawkeyes right now up against it. Been a tough week for the Hawkeyes. They've suffered that flu bug. They need to get it going. Here's Freddie Russell. Russell carries it out across the 25 to the 27. Let's go down to Sam. Sam?
Well, Tim, here's the latest on Jim Sorgi. You see him sitting on the bench behind me. He has the red cape over his shoulders. The Wisconsin bench is telling me it's a head injury. Trainers and doctors came over. They had some words with him. They're not telling us the extent of it right now, but right now he is out of the game. They don't know his status for the rest of the game at this point, guys.
You know, that is so sad, Sam, when you hear that story. Here he is on senior day. Told us on Thursday and again yesterday how much this game means to him. He's running out of time, he said. And he was just realizing now these are the last times he may ever play football.
Sorgi walked into that press conference about 3 weeks ago with the local media. And he said, guys, you're going to see a different Jim Sorgi. He had the knee scope that kept him out of the Northwestern game. And he said, I just woke up this morning. I said, you know what? My career is almost over. I'm just going to go have fun. I'm going to do everything I can to be ready to play every game. 685 yards passing in the last 2 ball games. And it is just a shame on Senior Day that we may not be able to finish it.
2nd down and 7. Here goes Lewis. Jamel Lewis has a 1st down. He's out to the 45 for the Hawkeyes.
And Lewis, who tore his ACL in spring ball. A lot of people not thinking he'd be able to make it back for this season, but Kirk Ferentz says this guy keeps himself in such good shape all the time, and it was a clean ACL tear. There was no meniscus damage, so they went back and did the surgery. And during the bye week was the first time that he was really able to start going. He's starting to get closer and closer to 100%.
Freddie Russell in the ball game now. He's the carrier. Here's your quick first off that Russell. 3. You know, Iowa fans mentioned Freddie Russell with other former running backs like Ronnie Harmon and Tavian Banks, Liddell Betts. Hurt his hand against Michigan last year, but he is one talented running back, albeit tiny.
He is one of only 3 rushers in Iowa history to put together more than.
How about this, partner? When we saw him in the Orange Bowl last January, he was 177 pounds. He's now 192.
And maybe faster.
There he is. Tripped up. Hawthorne again. What a game he's playing. Tremendous football player, and he can flat out dominate. Sat down with Nathan Chandler last night. We asked him about Freddie Russell.
He's a guy that you walk by him, you probably wouldn't even notice him, but you get him out in a football field, and he's as quick as anybody you've ever seen. And he hides behind Robert Gallery and Eric Roth, those guys up front. And next thing you know, he's through the hole. So he's been good for us this season.
He's one of college football's most underrated running backs. Chandler on 3rd down needs some success. He's got it. It's complete to Malloy. Down to the 10. 1st down, Hawkeyes.
That time Chucky Cowens was in one-on-one coverage, and he slips on the turf. It was raining before the game. Right when he goes to break, slips and falls, cannot come up and make the play on the ball.
This is that field turf. Didn't you play on this?
And Barry Alvarez, I was talking to him. I never played on it. I'm too old. I just did this about 3 years ago. It's great stuff, but it is pretty slick right now.
6. Chandler slips, throws to the flats. He's got a guy with a 5 to Mo Brown. Actually marking at the 6.
Good job by Chucky.
That's the first catch for Mo Brown.
But this, it was the right guard who stepped on Chandler's foot. Good job keeping his balance. But this field turf, Barry Alvarez likes it so much that they don't even practice on grass anymore. As a matter of fact, they had 2 grass practice fields. He gave them to the soccer team. A lot of schools are starting to go to this surface. It is so consistent.
Maurice Brown had that big touchdown before the half last year against Wisconsin. And Iowa's win. He's got 6 catches against the Badgers. Here's Chandler. Inside scoop, goes loose, incompleted pass.
It is so hard for a defense to get used to the fact that that shovel pass is incomplete.
Well, they were blowing a whistle. They've got to be careful. You've got to protect the players. Because Lewis gave up on it when he dropped it.
This is basically a underneath option. Chandler. And it's such a natural reaction. You think that is a fumble. And so everyone goes for it. Now, 3rd and goal from the 6. And Chandler, he moves so much better than you think. Probably get him out of the pocket here.
Motion there is Ramon Ochoa. Chandler into the end zone. Touchdown to Ramon Ochoa. He was the motion man. He makes the catch. His 6th touchdown of the year. And his 2nd here this afternoon. Boy, that was a much-needed touchdown by Iowa.
Ochoa comes. And there was confusion by Wisconsin. 4 guys trailing Ochoa. When he came in motion, they were in zone coverage. Nobody saw him running the drag route.
David ready for the extra point. He splits hits the sticks, and we're within a touchdown. .442 remaining in the first half. Tim Grant, Ed Cunningham, Sam Bryant with you. 18th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes have just scored to make it a one-touchdown game. Ochoa with 2 touchdowns for the Hawkeyes. Davis with 2 touchdowns for the Badgers. Brandon Williams will catch this one all the way at the back of the end zone. Go down it there for a touchback and bring it out to the 20. Smith again, back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. Tyler Lupke, who's playing a good, solid game, made the tackle, and it'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Just got a note that Oklahoma just scored to go up 21-10. But Kirk Ferentz, there's been so much talk. He was the AP Coach of the Year last year. Jacksonville wanted him, and he's just so happy here at the college level, and happy to see Wisconsin in 3rd and long.
Shaver in the quarterback draw. Not going to get a first down out to the 25. And again, it's Tyler Lupke. We've called his name 4 or 5 times already.
And this goes back to Brian White, the offensive coordinator, being very conservative, because Jim Sorgi out with a little head ding, and Shabert's already thrown 1 interception that led to 7 points. Right now, I'm sure Barry Alvarez, the former linebacker coach, is telling him, let's play a little field position.
Ochoa, number 13. Ochoa is going to get a pretty good chance here, but this is a beautiful punt. Taken at the 40, looking for blockers. Still on his feet, Ochoa out to the 48-yard line. So a 45-yard punt, a 7-yard return. Darius Jones made the tackle, but Iowa will have great field position with 39 seconds left in the first half.
And they've got all the time in the world with the clock stopping, with the chains. If you pick up a first down, you want to be very careful. Nothing you do right now, you want, unless it can go out of bounds or pick up the first down. But with Nate Kading, who kicked a 55-yard field goal last week, Luke Rose, a finalist, won it last year. You think if you get about 21 yards of field position, you got a legitimate shot at 3 points.
First down, Hawkeyes. Pressure comes backside. Still gets the pass off, incomplete, but he did everything he could just trying to get the ball to Malloy and not take the sack. So the clock stops with 34 seconds left, but great pressure by Alex Lewis.
And Alex Lewis, a guy 6'1", 237 pounds, is so quick off the edge. Watch the burst as he comes inside and dips, slaps, goes right by the right tackle, Sam Aiello. He had 5 sacks against Purdue. He's a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, and 2 last week against Michigan State. This guy is really good off the edge.
From the State University of New York, junior college transfer, very quiet, religious guy. Here's 2nd down, they throw a strike. This is Malloy. He's got a first down. At the 36-yard line with 29 seconds left.
Chandler with no timeouts, wisely going up to kill it.
Clock will start as soon as they reset the chains. It stopped at 29. On the whistle. He can wait for the whistle. And now, with the clock play, stops at 27 seconds. So, good clock management by the Hawkeyes. Out of the shotgun, 3rd down and 10. Wisconsin brings pressure. Chandler's taken down from behind at the 33-yard line. Clock continues to move. Alex Lewis got credit for the tackle. We're down to 15 seconds. And Iowa takes a timeout. And here he comes. Nate Kading. Now, he obviously had warmed up earlier.
That is really, you know.
Well, I mean, different strokes for different guys. He knows he warms up and he knows he's ready, I guess.
Well, he's 15 for 16 on the year. I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Just bides his time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's the best in the country.
But have you ever seen a kicker that is standing on the sidelines on a 2-minute drill? He's not kicking ball after ball.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows what it takes for him.
Yeah, you're not going to argue with his success rate.
Snap, hold, kick. And it's good. He is something special. Camp Randall enjoying senior day here in Madison, Wisconsin. The first half ends with the Badgers leading the Hawkeyes 21-17. And now take you back to New York with John, Terry, and Craig. As we start the second half at Camp Randall Stadium. Williams will chase back into the end zone and down it there, so it is a touchback to bring it out to the 20, and that's where the Badgers will have it first.
Take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, the first half stats. That bottom one started to look like it might have gotten away a little bit from Iowa, but then the interception by Shabert led to the touchdown catch for Ochoa and brought Iowa right back into the ball game. And passing yards for Iowa, 46, but Fred Russell averaging nearly 11 yards per carry.
One of the big stories is that Jim Sorgi got hurt. Shavert's still the quarterback, and they give it to Smith, and Smith gets a couple of tough yards, but we'll try to keep you updated on Sorgi. Went out with, had his head banged, and Shavert's been quarterbacking the rest of the way. There's a look at Jim Sorgi, the senior. Boy, you hate to see that happen on senior day when you want to play your last college football game in Camp Randall.
And especially as well as he'd been playing. But there was, it had to happen somewhere end of the first, early second, because there was a couple of series there where he just looked completely off. I think the weather has an effect on any quarterback in right now, including Matt Shabert.
Just going for 430 yards and one interception. Here he is to throw. Five-step drop, looks out and Bernstein's across the 25 to the 26-yard line. That's where Grantstein takes him down. But Bernstein now with 3 catches.
In talking to Brian White, the offensive coordinator at Wisconsin, about Iowa, he said you have to be patient. We've seen Shabert and Sorgi both try to go deep a couple of times, and they always have deep coverage. But the one thing that Iowa does so well, as you see there, is tackle. They do not let a lot of yards after contact.
Third down on the long 3. Done. Now Shavert's got some pressure. He scrambles and he's not going to get the first down. As a matter of fact, he loses yardage. Howard Hodges takes him down. That'll be classified as sack. There are flags down. Hodges, one of the best defensive ends in the nation.
Holding on the up. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Hodges gets his 10th sack of the year.
One thing Iowa has done very well this year is block punts. They have 4 on the year, and they've had a couple of different looks.
Ochoa, number 14, is handed back at the 34-yard line. This is a low kick, a short kick. It'll take a bounce and roll all the way down to the 30, right around the 33-yard line. So a 42-yard punt. And let's go downstairs to Sam Ryan. Sam?
And Timmy, I just spoke with Coach Kirk Ferentz. He said 3 turnovers, way too many. He said that's the story of the game. He also said, heck, that's been the story of our season. When asked about Nate Chandler sticking with him at quarterback in the second half, he said, right now we're just going to take it one play at a time, but we expect him to play much better in the second half, guys.
Yeah, I would think so, Sam. As a matter of fact, you don't want to get away from your senior. Neutral zone, first down. Chandler with time, looks deep, throws. He's got a man that's open and incomplete. He was intended for Ramon Ochoa. He had a step on Scott Starks and just out of his reach. Starks had good defensive position after making up some ground.
And another pretty good throw by Nathan Chandler.
Watch this. Right there, Starks is beaten, but look at him
closes. He gets that hand out, and his left hand got up and because that ball was dropped in there perfectly.
Just in time to strip.
Starks did a really nice job closing that cushion. Another nice deep throw by Nathan Chandler.
There is Jones comes in the left hand. Joe Bonnie comes in to replace him. Second down and 10. Chandler just 5 of his last 21 throws. Hawthorne trips up Freddie Russell.
This guy is an offensive lineman's nightmare. He's 6'3", 300 pounds, strong as an ox, and he is so quick. Watch how quickly he gets off on the snap count. Just throws Rothwell out of the way.
Boy,
the fullback is coming in to trap. He's everything. He's the whole package. The size, the speed, the strength, big time play, split the line. And he's been doing it. He's been doing it so much lately.
Ramon Ochoa never had possession.
This time Kevin Cosgrove. Last week against Michigan State, he ran a three-man line almost the entire game against Jeff Smoker. And the Spartans held them to 310 yards of total offense. This time they go to the three-man line. And even though they don't get pressure, Chandler has to move up in the pocket with 8-man dropped off. There's nowhere for him to go.
David Brown's going to try to get this away from Leonard. Doesn't want to kick to him. He's looking to a corner. They're coming hard. Gets this off. It's a long kick. Fair catch is called inside the 10. And Iowa is there to down it inside the 5. Great play by Sanders, a 54-yard punt. Wisconsin will be backed up. You have the feeling, though, that this game is just about to begin. Got a lull here in the third. Badgers back to throw. Shaver over the middle. It's picked off. Iowa's got it. Look out. Considine's got help. Inside the 5. Knocked out of bounds at the 2. And the battle's about to begin.
And Matt Shaver, it's tough duty. You don't get as many reps as the starter. Jim Sorgi got almost all the reps the other day when we were out of practice, but this is just another bad read. He had Evans over on the other side. Looked like he was open on the post, and he came down the stem to Owen Daniels and did not see Considine dropping down. Considine was up around the line of scrimmage and then backed out late, and Shaver never saw him.
Russell, your tailback. First and goal. Chandler. Russell, left side. Gets to the corner. Final Russell, touchdown Iowa. No flags.
His height or lack of helps him.
He's a hide-and-seek runner. Hides behind those big linemen, seeks that hole, bounced outside and scored.
He had a pulling guard who slipped and fell. Held for half a second. It all started with Considine, who got a little sneaky. Backed out late and made a big interception.
To make it a 3-point game. And the extra point is good. We were told that Jim Sorgi would not be back in the ball game when he hit his head. But it's senior day. It's the last opportunity he will ever have to play Camp Randall. And look who's warming up. It's Jim Sorgi. Down in the end zone, bring it out. And Wisconsin will start at the 20.
Well, you've got to think that it might be the medical staff of Wisconsin that's telling Jim Sorgi and the coaches not to play.
Well, he's not coming out on the field.
No, he's
Keep
not.
in mind he's warming up. He may be doing this on his own just to try to influence the decision.
And Matt Shaver has struggled. He's thrown 2 interceptions that have led to 14 points for Iowa. Mentally, it's tough as the backup quarterback when you've got a senior. You don't get as many reps during the week, and he has just not recognized a couple of coverages that Iowa has thrown at him.
Shaver 4-10. Smith is a setback. Here's Smith. Tries to get to the corner, and Iowa's all over it. Sean Considine got there and made the tackle. It's up maybe a yard. Actually got just beyond the line of scrimmage.
Pick up a block on the play. 2nd and 9. The 21-yard line.
Of the consistency that they've played with this year. Only 3 times has an opponent had a rush of more than 20 yards against them. They are so sound in their angles of pursuit and attacking.
Out of the gun. Shaver on the quarterback draw. Not much. It'll bring 3rd and 8.
This young man, a walk-on, has had to play quite a bit because of injuries, was playing defensive end. And the last 2 games, he has been so disruptive in the middle for Norm Parker.
This crowd knows that Wisconsin needs to generate something here. The momentum of the game has changed. Shaver backside pusher, throws deep. This one's up the ground. There's a flag. Evans was on the turf and says he was interfered with. Now Shaver's on the turf and slow getting up. If this is against Iowa, it'll be a first down.
Kirk
There
Ferentz.
is no foul on the play.
That's what Coach Barry was arguing, saying there's no way that Evans could have caught that ball.
First down, Iowa. Freddie Russell breaks a tackle with him. Russell's loose again. Inside the 20 and goes out of bounds. Fred Russell's first down moves it all the way down inside the 20. This is Lewis. Now Lewis nowhere to run. Time now for this Badgers defense to bow its back a little bit.
And this entire game has been about turnovers. And that may end up being the biggest one if Iowa can convert 7 points on this.
That's the end of the third period. And the Hawkeyes have taken the lead 24-21. Fourth period begins 24-21.
One of the great scenes in college football. The fans get into it between the third and fourth quarters with a little House of Pain jump around. And that's just what this defense may need. They need to come up with a big play.
Second down and 10. Call it 9. Lewis stopped in his tracks. He may have lost yardage. Now it is 10. Well, Sports Illustrated earlier this year named Madison, Wisconsin the best college sports town in the nation. Ed mentioned jump around. Sights and sounds as we go between periods here and start the final 15. Whole stadium was rocking. And now the defense has to make a stop. Chandler, five-step drop. There's pressure. Throws. It's complete. Ochoa is close to it. First down. Fumbles out of bounds. He'll be short. Oh, this is an important mark, but it looked like the ball went out of bounds at the 10, about a yard short of the first. I'd go for the 3, and that's what they're going to do. Yeah.
I just think the way Wisconsin has struggled offensively, you'd feel pretty good putting your defense back on the field and maybe get the field position back. I'm not disagreeing with the decision here, but I don't think it would be an awful call to go for it either.
So Kading comes on. He'll be kicking from the right hash mark. It'll be a 28-yard attempt. He's 1 for 1 this year at this distance. High snap. Kading is automatic. He's as good as he gets, the best in the land, and he adds 3 more for the Hawkeyes. Brandon Williams has not really had a chance to return a ball tonight. Get one here at the 2. Drops it, looks for help, finds a hole, he's out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Once you get 200, deciding your name. Here's a pass that looked deep. Sacco's got a guy. It's caught by Evans.
Well, the freshman learned something from the senior Sorgi.
Stacco threw a strike, 49 yards. Evans laid out, and boy, he's got some hands.
If you give number 3 a chance, this is the double move that he loves to run. Considine does a nice job, even tries the arm bar. Well, that's just the finish of the play, though. He's had a couple of drops early in the game, which is so unlike him. He has such sure hands.
Runs against a cover 2 and outraces the safety. Unbelievable.
And how many times do you think Norm Parker told Considine to cover 2? You do not allow number 3 to go by you. This guy is something.
First down, Badgers. This guy, Smith. Got 58 catches in the year. Reached a Big Ten with 99 yards a game. Stacco throws again to Evans, and this one's too wide. Couldn't bring it in. Let's go downstairs. Here's Sam.
Well, Tim, Eddie was just talking about Lee Evans and his knee surgery. Doctors told him he had to have the surgery redone. He told me he was shocked and angry when he heard that. Now, there was swelling from within the meniscus, he told me. The ligament didn't hold either, so they had to go back and redo the whole thing. He told me what got him through it all was writing his thoughts in a journal. He didn't want to seem helpless and tell anyone how he was feeling, so he put it all down. He said sometimes when he has a rough day, he reads the old excerpts and realizes, hey, I don't have it that bad now.
Touchdown ties the game. The extra point would give them a 1-point lead. It's third down, but they need 18. This is Daniels. Daniels isn't going to get back to the original line. Abdul Hodge ran him out of bounds.
I was just watching Abdul Hodge as he followed the motion. Owen Daniels, who's kind of a hybrid H wide receiver. Watch the speed by Hodges as he sees Daniels, reads it right now. Look at the ground that he makes up. Good job of getting himself back on balance. We've just talked about how the field is slick, did a great job, and this was a good penalty for Iowa to accept.
This is a high punt that'll go into the end zone. No, it'll hit at the one and be down at the one. Great coverage by Wisconsin. Byron Brown is second down of the game, 35 yards, and Brown downs it at the one.
It did look like that ball was just going to go straight into the end zone. R.J. Moore's kicked this ball flat and low. But we've been talking about this field turf. If you have never walked on field turf, it is really soft. It's almost like one of those mattresses when you stick your hand in and your fingerprints stay. Because that ball on a harder surface goes right into the end zone. Good hustle by Byron Brown.
It's like using the 60-degree lob wedge. A little backspin on it. It's a Pro V1 football. Well, he couldn't get possession of it, and his legs kicked it out to the 6, so it's just out beyond the 5. First down and 10. Stutter step, tackled at the 3. Russell loses yardage. Welsh got there first, and Lewis was right behind him.
Penetration. Inside move. Robert Gallery was expecting help from his guard, did not get it. Jonathan Welsh gets inside and causes Russell to have to make a move in the backfield.
Now the All-Backs halfway into the end zone, 5 yards deep. Give it to the fullback. Cervantes bangs it out to the original line of scrimmage, not much more. Terrific Big Ten shootout, huh? At least it's typical Big Ten football.
November. And we made the mistake of listening to Barry Alvarez on Wednesday. He told us it was going to be 60 degrees all the way through the weekend. I think he was trying to recruit us. Advantage Kevin Cosgrove against Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator from Iowa.
Saw those numbers. Only 2 of 14 third down conversions. They're going to try to run it out with Russell. Still on his feet with that. Flags after the 14. Not enough for the first down, but Fred Russell almost got it. But there is a flag down. And it's back at the 4-yard line.
I think they got Eric Rothwell working on Calvin Barrett.
Holding on the offense. And penalties decline. Fourth down.
You're getting a little nervous up here.
It's getting really scared. Sometimes get Grady and big safety, but we just want the ball back.
44 to play.
Kick it over to the numbers. You got one at 18's hands.
Good snap. This is a high punt. Leonard will fair catch it at the 48. A 34-yard punt and no return. Let's take a look at the BCS standings brought to you by Allstate. Right up top is Oklahoma with an easy win today. Ohio State lost. USC's beating UCLA big, so they will move up. LSU got a big win. Texas plays Texas A&M on Friday. TCU is gone after their loss the other night.
Here's the intriguing one to me.
Now see, the Trojan fans are going to be upset that you put a line through USC.
I didn't put a line through him. I meant to make a check mark. No, I think the Trojans would give Oklahoma an awfully good game in the Sugar Bowl. But LSU winning on the road today against Mississippi. They beat Arkansas and go to the SEC championship game and win. I think they have an argument that they may belong on Bourbon Street for New Year's Eve.
Good yardage on first down by Smith out to the 42-yard line.
Bob Sanders he's amazing.
The thing that hurts USC is UCLA, a team that showed so much promise early, got 6 wins early. They'll get a bump went to tank, and so now they're weak, but that counts against USC.
They'll get a bump next week, though, against Oregon State, a team 7-3, playing against Oregon today in the Civil War. Trojans fans root for the Beavers.
27-21 under 3 minutes to play in Madison. This is Dwayne Smith. And he'll lose yardage. Terrific play by Bob Sanders again. And he has made some spectacular plays today.
Well, we've seen him do it on special teams. He recovered the fumble by Leonard. He caused Leonard to he just is constantly playing downhill. He's improved his speed every single year. And you said it earlier, the only thing he is not is tall.
Well, he's got a bump in his head the size of a baseball. Sat out for a while while they iced it down. Couldn't get his helmet back on.
It's 5'8", 5'10" with the bump.
Just haven't been able to convert on third. Now they throw.
Sideline with this way because this thing was thrown into double coverage. Charles at 6'6" goes up and makes a nice play on the ball. There's a lot of white jerseys. Considine's over there. Sanders is over there.
You mentioned earlier how hot he's been the last 2 games with 8 catches coming in over the last 2. That was a mismatch guy there. They threw it high. He went up and got it. He's got 3 here tonight.
Situations. One of these guys running on needs to tell Stockwell, listen, work the play clock. Let's melt this thing down.
Jonathan Orr comes in. Brandon White comes into the game. Your big backs come out. Loaded with skilled position guys. They spread the field sideline to sideline. First and goal. Spread them thin, run between Dwayne Smith. Stopped by Hodge. Still melting the clock down to 32, 31, 30. Stockwell. Mills open to the 5. Clock still moves.
Get a timeout, Iowa. And that's the last. If Wisconsin with only 1, a little bit nervous. Now you're down to 0. Now you're forced to throw the ball into the end zone.
Touchdown to tie and the extra point to win. Out again. Evans motion now. For the swing. Inside the 5. And so back at the 4. He's got to go. 12 seconds.
See, that's where Stockwell, a freshman, he should have thrown that ball away. He should have seen that he could not have scored from there.
5 seconds. 3, 2. They're going to get it off. The snap. No time on the clock. Stockwell throws it complete. Wins it. And the Hawkeyes go to 9-3 and 5-3 in the conference.
Kirk Ferentz going to meet Barry Alvarez in the middle of the field. They work together at Iowa as assistants under Hayden Fry. He has to feel for his old friend, having to go with a freshman Stocko. And it was just a mistake not to throw that ball. They just never were able to get set for that last play.
And so the seniors here at Camp Randall, playing their last game in Madison, will leave with a bad taste in their mouth.
Let's go down to Sam.
All right, Coach Barry, you just told me you couldn't believe they got that last playoff. What was going through your mind at that moment?
I thought we were in good shape once we tackled them in bounds, but they did a heck of a job. It's a little scary there at the end. Can't say enough about the way our guys have hung in all season long.
They did hang in all season long. What were your expectations? You have 9 victories now. What were your expectations going into the season?
Well, you know, I think our expectations were high. We knew we had a good ball club. We knew things would have to fall right. A lot of things happened during the course of the year we didn't anticipate. I just can't say enough about the way our players persevered. They showed a lot of resiliency. Our staff did the same thing. I just, you know, not many people would have said 9 wins for Iowa back in July. I know that.
One of your guys has been consistent for you. All his career long has been Nate Kading on offense. What has he meant to the team?
Yeah, we have 3 outstanding seniors. We got a lot of great players, don't get me wrong, but you know, you look at Kading, Sanders, and Gallery. Those 3 guys have given us such great leadership. Nate is just such a tremendous guy. A couple weeks ago, missed his first field goal. Boy, was he determined to bounce back. He did last week and today. You know, Bob Sanders, you know, made plays again today. And Robert Gallery, just such a dynamic force for our football team.
Kirk Ferentz, congratulations.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Tim?
All right, Sam, Michigan won the conference title earlier with a win over the defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes earlier today, but these 2 teams knew the winner here would still be playing a bowl game on New Year's Day. Once again, your final score, the Hawkeyes 27, the Badgers 21. For Sam Ryan at Cunningham, I'm Tim Brandt saying so long from Madison, Wisconsin.